You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, an additional arrest is made in connection to an Amber Alert that happened over the weekend.
And we meet a woman with an inspiring story that proves even if you hit rock bottom, you can do anything.
And we've got a few showers and thunderstorms out there, and we're also quite breezy across the area for some of us. We'll take a look at all of that coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Local authorities arrest another person related to the Missouri statewide Amber Alert issued Saturday night. 38-year-old Amber Turner of Sarcoxie is charged with felony endangering the welfare of a child. She is the mother of the 7-year-old Sarcoxie girl who was reported missing. On Tuesday, authorities charged 23-year-old Matthew Honeycutt of Neosho with felony kidnapping. They're holding him in the Jasper County Jail with bonds set at $250,000 cash only. According to court filings, Honeycutt had Turner's permission to drive her car from her address with the child to something that was to only take a few minutes. But he was gone 6 hours with the girl. The girl was found safe at I-44 exit 4 and did not appear harmed. She's currently in state custody. We now know the name of the victim in a fatal Tuesday shooting in Galena, Kansas. Authorities say 27-year-old Levi Porter of Riverton was shot and killed last night in Galena. It happened around 9 p.m. on the 800 block of Columbus Avenue. Sheriff David Grove says Cherokee County emergency medical personnel tried to revive Porter, but were unsuccessful. Sheriff Grove says authorities arrested 49-year-old Billy Barker from Galena at the scene. He's now at the Cherokee County Jail on pending charges of second-degree murder. One of the county officials caught up in a scandal in McCurtain County, Oklahoma, has resigned. The commissioner was identified by a local newspaper as one of several officials recorded discussing killing reporters and lynching black people. Spokesperson for Governor Kevin Stitt said the office received a handwritten resignation letter from McCurtain County Commissioner Mark Jennings. In it, Jennings says he's resigning immediately and that he plans to release a formal statement. Also, 3 members of the McCurtain County Sheriff's Office, including the sheriff, have been suspended from the Oklahoma Sheriff's Association. Now, that is a nonprofit that supports law enforcement. All are accused of making racist remarks, expressing disappointment that black people can no longer be lynched, and threatening to kill 2 journalists, Bruce Willingham and his son, Chris Willingham.
Well, we've got ourselves a few showers and thunderstorms out there in southeast Kansas. None of these strong or severe, just some good old-fashioned rain and a few rumbles of thunder. And this line will continue to advance to the east, as it has been progressively doing. It may eventually be joined by some of this activity across Oklahoma, now moving into the Tulsa area. But again, even when that happens, we're not talking about anything. And the good news is now all wind advisories gone from the area, but we're still breezy. This line of storms by 9 a.m. is right here, and as you can see, it is not very impressive, nor will it be as it rolls through the area. It won't pick up intensity until it moves well to our east. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looking back to the south, is shaking in the wind out there. And from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, we don't see the bright sunshine because it is a bit on the cloudy side across the area. Sitting at 70 in Joplin, south breeze at 21, still gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour. And as the morning progresses, that will eventually start to calm down a bit. 73 Chanute, 71 Parsons, Chatopa, 70 Miami, 68 Neosho, 69 in Carthage. Again, a few scattered showers, thunderstorms, breezy, temperatures hovering right around 70 through the morning. Winds calm down in that 20-25 mile an hour range this afternoon. Staying cloudy, heading for highs in the lower 70s. And then the winds will pick up again overnight into tomorrow, and we get cold. Look at how quickly we drop once the skies clear out, down to the mid-40s for overnight lows. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A woman from Carthage, Missouri is sharing her history with the hopes of inspiring others. KOAM's Carrie Worthen joins us live in studio this morning to tell us more. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning. From living in a warehouse on meth to stealing a vehicle and getting arrested, Tony Smith has had some obstacles in her life. But today, Smith is the executive director of Crosslines in Carthage, Missouri. Smith says that the arrest led to the change in her lifestyle.
Carthage Community Crisis Center, everybody that pours into the Crisis Center, everybody that pours into Crosslines, and people I would have said, in spite of knowing my past, still love me, but because of my past, they love me.
Smith just bought her first house and visits the Carthage Crisis Center often to mentor and help others.
How long ago did that arrest happen when it started the big change in her life?
I believe that happened in 2012 is when she said that she got arrested. And then she went to jail and through a recovery program, which led her through the crisis center.
All right, and there she is now. All right, thank you so much, Carrie. Well, in the spirit of National Earth Month, plant lovers learned how they can make a meal straight from the root. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has details.
The Wildcat Glaze Friend Group offered a class on foraging. A foraging expert, Bo Brown, guided eager foragers.
I show them how much food is underfoot that they walk on and walk across every day. Sometimes there's specialized habitats that have a special thing that grows there.
Brown wants to educate and demystify which plants are toxic or edible.
Only a handful of plants that will actually do you in if you eat them. And they're in the carrot family for the most part. There's another wildflower.
And as Bo taught us today, that you can find enough food to have a great salad within like 10 feet of your back doors.
The participants enjoyed the fruits of their labor by actually eating the plants they gathered on the Wildcats Glaze trails. A call back to the original way to get food in the Ozarks.
I mean, the Ozarks has had an undercurrent of foraging because they had to. They were poor. It's rocky, bad soil. And you couldn't do it. My mom got me started in this.
I have walked these trails many times, and so to go by some of these plants that I've gone by and completely disregarded many times and then start eating it, it's a fun new experience, and it's enlightening.
Foraging is an old craft that recently became a trend. Brown believes foraging is gaining popularity through social media groups.
Foraging Facebook groups. That made it blow up, and a lot of young people that wouldn't have had anything to do with it, they're on Facebook all the time. They see all their friends bringing in stuff. They found this foraging.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Bo Brown is planning more foraging classes in the future. Up next, Chef Anthony steps back into the kitchen. Once again, we're going to be making those pork chops, butterfly pork chops in a vegetable medley coming up.
And later, we've got those showers and thunderstorms, gusty winds, and cooler weather on the way. We'll talk about all of that coming up. But first, here is a live look from here at KOAM. Actually, this is a live look. See, it's right out in front of our building. We'll be back right after this.
All right, we are back with Chef Anthony in the Chef Anthony Test Kitchen, and we are making butterfly pork chops with a vegetable medley. Now, yes. I want to talk a little bit about these pork chops. We got them from Simon Market. Thank you, Ben. But they were already butterflied.
Yes.
How do you go about butterflying ones if you just buying them from the store and that's not an option?
Just place your hand flat on top of it and start slicing through with your knife, leaving about 1/4 to 1/2 inch connected at the back, and then just lay it open.
Yeah, just like that. Do you need to like beat it down a little bit, or no?
If they're done and they're cut appropriately, you won't have to worry about any of that. So just cutting all the way through and deciding on your thickness to begin with. A lot of people, what they do is to save money is they'll buy a pork loin, and you can butterfly chops right out of a pork loin, slice them thick, about 1.5 inches thick, and then cut them at 3/4 of an inch on the inside.
Okay.
And you can cut them a little bit thin. You can cut them a little bit smaller at 1 inch, and then you can stuff them. When you butterfly them, you can stuff them. Just close them down with some toothpicks.
Okay.
So there's all sorts of options you can do with it. And here I've just dredged it in flour. I've seasoned the inside of the meat, dredged it in flour,
so
and
you
placed it
season
right
the
into
meat first before you put it in just
yes.
flour. Okay.
I want to make sure that seasoning had a chance to sit into the meat for a little bit. So I got everything ready to go. And then I put a little bit of oil in the bottom of my cast iron skillet and laid it right in. Mm-hmm. Here I have my skillet ready to go for our vegetables. Nothing but a little oil. I pre-seasoned our vegetables.
And I saw that we're using your favorite seasoning, the smoked onion and jalapeno from the Kinder's Rub.
Oh yes, I love that stuff. It's great for this time of year. But you can see.
Oh, the smells, and I wish you could smell through the camera.
Smell-o-vision, I cannot wait for it to be a real thing.
Yeah, it'd be so good.
But you can see just how beautiful and colorful this vegetable blend is. You can't, that's just absolutely going to be gorgeous on our plate.
Yeah, it is.
So,
talk about spring. Spring is here, yes.
Spring is here. We want lots of vibrant colors. And this is great for summertime too. So this is beautiful with the colors, and you can just go to the farmer's market, buy what you want, and make yourself a little medley and enjoy those.
Or if you've got a green thumb, take it straight out of the garden.
Exactly. Yeah. Time of year for victory gardens again.
Well, yeah, everybody's planting right now. So, like when you're planting, think about that too. Is like, what colors are you planting?
Yes. The colors should be one of those things that you're paying attention to when you design your garden. So it should look pretty. It should fulfill the needs that you have. And I've even seen people who
and of
throw
course, flavors that you like.
Yes. And I've even seen people throw tomatoes in here.
Okay.
I'm not a big over fan of tomatoes.
And they don't get too soggy?
They throw them in close to the end.
Okay.
Depending upon what you have, you stage out the cooking times accordingly. But all of these, I selected all of this because they all take roughly the same amount of time to cook.
Right, and of course, if you missed the first segments, we have the red bell pepper, green bell pepper, we have squash, we have zucchini, and corn.
Corn, and don't forget the onion.
Oh yes, onion too. There's onion as well. Okay, so how long are we going to be cooking these? We got a little break, and then we'll come back.
This should take about 10 minutes.
10 minutes. That should be perfect. We'll let Chris join us and do some weather.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then we'll come back and finish off our butterfly pork chops and vegetable medley.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Got a few showers and a few thunderstorms out in southeast Kansas. It's been the trend through the morning, and this line will continue to progressively advance to the east, but you can see it doesn't look very impressive, nor is it going to get very impressive. In fact, some of it may break up before it even makes it to this point by 9 a.m., but if it does, it's expected to try and join a line that's in northeast Oklahoma, and then we'll see a few more scattered showers and storms. No strong or severe storms expected, not even through the noon hour. Look at how just broken this line is. Once it moves east, though, it's going to run into a much more favorable environment, and that's when it'll have an opportunity to pick up strength again heading into Arkansas and southeast Missouri. MoDOT camera 20th and range line. It's calmed down a bit, but still shaking in that wind out there. And the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. Again, a little on the dark side because, well, it is cloudy out there right now. Sitting at 70 in Joplin. South breeze at 21 is gusting still upwards of 40 miles an hour, and it'll remain breezy like that through the morning hours before things calm down a bit this afternoon. 73 Chanute, 71 Parsons Chatopa, 70 Miami, 68 Neosho, 69 Carthage Lamar, and 70 in Pittsburgh. As we get our morning started, as mentioned, we'll be breezy. We got those scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. Temperatures hovering right around the 70-degree mark. And as we head into the afternoon, not a lot more warming going to take place. We'll stay cloudy. We'll stay breezy. We're talking winds 20, 25 miles an hour. And we're looking at temperatures pushing right around 73. Now tonight, we'll start to see the clouds clear out and winds will pick up again overnight. And then we'll get on the backside of this system and we will get to be downright cold, back to 46 for our overnight low tonight. And that's not as cold as it's going to get, unfortunately. A little cooler tomorrow, 66. Chilly on Saturday, only 55. A little better on Sunday, up to 62. But check out the overnight lows. Friday at 40, 35 Saturday, 40 on Sunday. So if you've got some outdoor vegetation, make sure it's prepped for this little bout of cold weather we're about to have. Unfortunately, as we head into next week, we don't do a lot of warming. That 68 is one of the better readings we're going to get. So you can see we hang out for the most part lower to mid-60s, which keeps our overnight lows cold back into the 40s. And we've got several different opportunities for showers and thunderstorms between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then again Friday and Saturday with a brief break from rain activity as we head into Thursday. So again, with this morning's storms, not anticipating any strong or severe thunderstorms with this line as it continues to roll on through, and of course should that change we'll let you know, but that's really not expected at this point. We will be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Welcome back. We are putting the finishing touches on our butterfly pork chops and vegetable medley this morning. I'm excited to try this. It just smells delicious.
It's also beautiful.
Yes, it is.
So we've sauteed our vegetables, the corn, zucchini, squash, onions, red peppers, green peppers.
Thank you to Martinez Produce for providing us a box of veggies to make this with
These
today.
veggies this week, their vegetables always look good, but this week the vegetables were just above and beyond.
Yeah.
They were so gorgeous. And then we're going to place our pork chop right onto our plate.
Beautiful.
And the pork chops are done very simply, just season, dredge in a little bit of flour into a hot cast iron skillet. The flour will give you a little bit of a crust and a crunch with the seasoning underneath, so you'll have it all the way through. And I've married the seasonings between the two together so that your flavors come through all the way across. We don't want to have contrasting tastes
Everything in there.
that don't complement each other.
True. All right, here goes.
Let's see how you think.
No, like surprise hot spice today.
No, I'm taking it easy for you because I have something in the future planned to take care of that.
That's really good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed. This is, for me, this is a nice little comfort food. This is something you can throw together on Friday night, Thursday night, when you have just a few extra minutes to do a little bit of prep work, but it's a classic meal that you can enjoy all summer long.
And how hot were we cooking it on, like medium-high heat?
Medium
or-
high.
And for about 10 minutes as well.
About 10 minutes until your vegetables are the color that you want. I ran these so that my zucchini and my squash had a nice golden brown to them. The corn has a little golden brown to it, and the flavors run all the way through. The key to it is not to put too much oil or butter into the bottom of your pan so that you don't burn the oil and butter.
Right, and the pork chops.
Done all the way through.
Yeah, they're done, but they're still juicy. Yeah.
Coating it with a little bit of that breading, or with a little bit of the flour helps seal some of that in there for you so you don't lose it.
And that's always my concern when you're like cooking with something that's as thin as this. How do you keep from drying it out?
Put a barrier in between. If I have something that's thin, I'll always bread it.
There you go.
So, and you can take this a step further. And after one coating of the flour, a little bit of egg and water, whisk together, and then take it straight into some panko, and then a little bit more flour in your pan, or a little bit more oil in your pan, and lay it right in there and get that nice, beautiful, crispy crust with a nice big crunch on it.
Well, this was definitely delicious.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
As we teased it, our succulent vegetables, or decadent, I think that's the word we use, pork chops. It was good. It was great. I loved it. You can watch these segments again on our website later this morning, KOAMnewsnow.com. Thank you so much for coming in. It's in a couple weeks, I think we're going to get into grilling season possibly.
Yes, it is.
So that'll be exciting. All right, we will be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. Some student researchers at Missouri Southern shared their findings on Wednesday. It's part of the university's annual Student Research Symposium. The event featured projects completed by various Southern students in a variety of categories, including humanities, education, health sciences, and more.
Female body donors, and we have students who are looking at the effect of garlic oil on E. coli. And so there's something that's very specific, that's unique and interesting for them, that they get to learn more about and apply what they've been learning in all their classes about how do we conduct research, what's the way that we communicate that research out into our community.
The student researchers were there to answer questions and share their expertise on their findings. On Wednesday, a Joplin program connecting seniors with volunteer programs hosted its graduation. Give 5 program is a civic matchmaking program that connects current and soon-to-be retirees 55 and older with meaningful volunteer opportunities that best fit their skill sets and passions. For the last 5 weeks, 14 retirees have visited 23 area nonprofits to learn more about the services they provide.
I think everybody should try it once anyway. And this is my first time trying it, so it was a good fit, I think. And I learned a lot about the different companies that we visited.
Give 5ers are now asked to commit to volunteering 5 hours a month to one or more of the agencies they visited. Wednesday marked field day for some Kansas Special Olympics kids. Students in the Therapeutic Recreation Program in the Department of Health, Human and Performance and Recreation had a terrific field day at Pitt State. It's a day where individuals with disabilities get to go out and play a variety of games. Gus the gorilla even made a special appearance, and some kids got their face painted.
Usually this population of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, they're not always given days where they can just be themselves, be around their peers, just have fun, run around, do whatever activities they want to do. So we just really wanted to create a day for them to be able to do that.
Wednesday's field day also had free physical health screenings for the first 50 kids who signed up.
Well, we've got a few showers and thunderstorms out there, and we do have, as I mentioned, we could see this happen. We've got a little bit of a stronger cell right here. Not expecting much, wind gusts 50 and some pea-sized hail. Otherwise, just general showers and thunderstorms across the area. This little line will continue to make its way through the area. Here we are at 9 a.m. Again, a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. By noon, it looks still nowhere near as impressive as that line overnight did. It won't actually re-intensify until it gets well out to our east. So quick look at current conditions. We've got decent temperatures so far. 70 Joplin, Lamar, Nevada, 69 Pittsburgh, 71 Chitopa, 70 in Miami as we get our morning started. Winds still gusting in some areas, upwards of 40 miles an hour, hovering right around 70 with those scattered showers and thunderstorms. Winds 20, 25 later today. Cloudy skies, highs pushing the lower 70s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A woman from Carthage, Missouri shares the story of her struggles with the hopes of inspiring others. KOAM's Carrie Worthen joins us with her story. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning. Sometimes when you hit rock bottom, all you have left to do is go up. Tony Smith shares her story of trials and tribulations.
I had went through a pretty awful divorce in 2012, and my now ex-husband and myself began to use meth. Long story short, I ended up in an abandoned warehouse in Springfield, Missouri. I was still using meth daily. I would go and find food out of dumpsters.
She then found herself without shelter after police kicked her out of the warehouse. Tony Smith had nowhere to go. Today, Smith is an executive director of Crosslines in Carthage, Missouri. But her road to getting where she is today has not been easy.
Wandered around Walmart for a couple of hours, and then the manager made me leave. And I went to a gentleman's house that I used to do some work for off and on for him. And I knew he smoked on his front porch, and so I went over there to smoke one of his cigarettes. And his car was in the driveway and the keys were in it, and I took the car into a Dollar Tree to steal something to eat. And the car had a tracker on it. And so the police came right in and arrested me.
Smith says that the arrest led to a change in her lifestyle.
By the grace of God, I was arrested, and when I got out of jail, I went to a recovery program, and then I came to the crisis center, it just changed my life. You know, I began the path of going to work and saving my money and paying off my debt and my legal fees and getting my student loans back into rehabilitation, as they call it, and began to save up money.
Smith started out at Crosslines volunteering for nearly 3 years before the executive director job opened up, and she was encouraged to apply.
Carthage Community Crisis Center, everybody that pours into the Crisis Center, everybody that pours into Crosslines, and people, I would have said, in spite of knowing my past, still love me, but because of my past, they love me. Through the Crisis Center, and they do in-house Bible study, and I've written in my Bible, in my prayer journal, God, I would like the home that you'd like me to have, the church you'd like me to have, the job you'd like me to have, and he just above and beyond, far more than I could ask for.
Smith just bought her first house and visits the Carthage Crisis Center often to mentor and help others. She also says that she reach out anytime you need to talk, pray, or even get guidance for some help.
All right, thanks, Carrie. Was she able to use her time in jail to start her recovery?
Yeah, she said when she was in jail, she got really close with God. She said at one point she laid on her back and put her hands and feet in the air and just said, God, I will receive whatever you want to give me to help me through this. So she says that she gives all her glory to God, and she would not be here today if it wasn't for him.
All right, and she was able to turn her life around. That's awesome. What a great story. Thank you so much. Well, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, we take you to our nation's capital, where a moment of harmonic unity goes viral.
And we're still watching those gusty winds and some thunderstorms across the area. We'll have another look at that forecast coming up. An Alabama school choir's impromptu performance of the national anthem has now gone viral. The high school students were visiting D.C. over the weekend to perform in a parade. Afterward, they decided to go check out the Thomas Jefferson Memorial and were compelled to sing the national anthem. Chip Scarborough shows us how it all went down. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
7 members of the Hewitt-Trussville High School Choir gathered in the school's front lobby on Tuesday afternoon to perform the national anthem for us in person, just 3 days after an impromptu singing of the anthem at the Thomas Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C.
I had a blast. I love singing. I love being a part of the choir. And it was really incredible to sing the national anthem.
The choir was in D.C. to perform in the National Cherry Blossom Festival Parade on Saturday morning. Later that day, they decided to tour the Thomas Jefferson Memorial when suddenly they stopped and started singing the national anthem.
It was really spontaneous, and the fact that, I don't know, it really just hit me when we were in the nation's capital. That we were just singing the national anthem and everybody just went silent. It just really meant a lot to me that everybody's listening. And in this time of just after COVID, post-pandemic, everybody's getting back up and back on their feet. It gives us a little hope.
6 of the 7 students we spoke with are seniors and will be graduating in just a few short weeks. They say this memory will stay with them for the rest of their lives.
It was truly an honor to just be standing under Jefferson's statue and singing about what our country believes in, and that is freedom overall.
Video of the performance posted on Facebook had nearly 50,000 views at last check. Well, we've got ourselves a few showers and storms and some windy conditions out there. We'll have another look at that forecast when we come back. Well, we've still got some showers and a couple of thunderstorms out there, but as you can see, this line has not been very impressive through the morning. It did get a little stronger briefly across parts of Montgomery and Wilson and Chautauqua counties, but you can see it's starting to already fall back apart again, and that's going to kind of be its trend. So we're still expecting, say, about 9 o'clock or so, still some scattered showers and storms across the area, but nothing too impressive out there. By noon, it rolls off to the eastern side of the area, and after that, it will intensify out to our east, but we will just get some showers and a couple of rumbles of thunder. 20th and range line, MoDOT camera there looking back to the south. That we are cloudy, still breezy. Same at the KDOT camera from 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. There's those clouds out there. They moved in a hurry this morning. We're at 70 in Joplin, south breeze at 21, still gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour. And you can see where temperatures are. It's not too bad of a morning. A little cooler up north now. 61 Iola, 63 Yates Center, Chanute, 71 Chautauqua, 70 Miami, Neosho, Carthage, Lamar, and Nevada, and 68 in Monette. We get our morning started. Again, a few of us getting some scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms, breezy, hovering right around 70 degrees through the morning. Then, once the rain clears out, we'll kick it up a couple of degrees to 73, remaining cloudy, breezy, winds gusting 20, 25, and then overnight the winds will pick up again, and as they do, the clouds will clear and our temperatures will drop considerably compared to where we've been as we get down to the mid-40s for overnight lows, and unfortunately, that's not as cold as it's going to get. All right, cooler tomorrow, 66, much colder Saturday, 55, 62 on Sunday, and between that, 40 Friday night, 35 Saturday night, and 40 on Sunday night. So if you've got some outdoor vegetation, make sure it's ready for this cold weather because our cold nights will continue. Temperatures don't do a lot of warming next week. We're hanging out mostly in the 60s, off and on chances for showers and thunderstorms throughout the week, save Thursday at least right now, where it'll just be cloudy. And our overnight lows, as you can see, stay chilly as we hang back in the 40s to near the upper 30s toward the middle of next week. And that is a check of your forecast this morning. Now, here's Tanya Bach with a check of Consumer Watch.
Right, if you've used Facebook over the past 16 years, you may qualify for a payment from a class action lawsuit. Current or former Facebook users can now file for compensation as part of a $725 million settlement. Money comes from a class action lawsuit over Cambridge Analytica and other third-party users using Facebook users' private information without their consent. In 2018, news broke that the data mining firm had taken personal information from up to 87 million Facebook users through a personality quiz app that sparked the lawsuit. Meta has denied any wrongdoing but agreed to the settlement in December to avoid the cost and risk of continuing the case. The agreement was given a preliminary okay by a federal judge at the end of March. A final approval hearing is set for September. The Environmental Protection Agency announces plans to implement the Biden administration's $23 billion clean energy loan program. This was funded by the Inflation Reduction Act. The EPA will work through nonprofits to distribute the funds. The agency is pursuing a strategy where several so-called hub nonprofits would distribute the money through a competitive process. The funds will be split to help finance tens of thousands of clean energy projects, low-income and disadvantaged communities, as well as Solar for All grant competition. It's round 2 for SpaceX in its attempt to launch what they call its most powerful rocket. The company says a test flight of its Starship spacecraft could lift off as soon as today. The rocket is already in position at SpaceX's privately owned spaceport in Texas. The company believes Starship could be the rocket that returns astronauts to the moon one day, or even takes the first trip to Mars. If all goes as planned today, the Starship will take off, completing nearly one full lap of the planet, then re-enter Earth's atmosphere near Hawaii. The entire trip should take about an hour and a half, and I'm told it's supposed to lift off in just a few minutes. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. More than 9 months after establishing a UFO office at the Pentagon, lawmakers now call the head of the office to Capitol Hill today to testify.
Griff Jenkins has more on the testimony.
As of this week, we are tracking over a total of 650 cases.
The head of the Pentagon's UFO office answered to lawmakers Wednesday, wanting to know more about unidentified flying objects and what the Defense Department's newly established All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office is doing about them.
I want to underscore today that only a very small percentage of UAP reports display signatures that could reasonably be described as anomalous.
The hearing, led by the Senate Armed Services Subcommittee, is just the second to discuss UFOs in more than 50 years.
The majority of unidentified objects reported to AARO demonstrate mundane characteristics of balloons, unmanned aerial systems, clutter, natural phenomena, or other readily explainable sources.
The hearing's sole witness, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, raised eyebrows last month after co-authoring an academic paper claiming a, quote, parent craft may be probing planet Earth, theorizing extraterrestrials may be drawn to Earth's water.
AARO has found no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity, off-world technology, or objects that defy the known laws of physics.
But it wasn't just unidentified objects lawmakers wanted to discuss. Known objects, like the Chinese surveillance balloon shot down off the East Coast in February, also came up.
This is a hunt mission for what might somebody be doing in our backyard that we don't know about.
The hearing comes as lawmakers debate the president's budget proposal, with some arguing funds for the Pentagon's UFO office are still far too low and is an issue of national security. In Washington, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
Who knows? We may know one day. In the Star Trek universe, we're not that far off from First Contact Day, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We'll be alive to witness it.
Well, and you know, as technology increases, we're going to get out there. We're seeing further away. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's bound to be something out there, I think. It's just a matter of what and how far away is it.
It was there, but we didn't see it for like 100 years later. Then it finally showed up, and then it's been long gone.
True, very true. Something that isn't quite long gone yet are the showers and a few thunderstorms out there. You can see this line really kind of dying out. Parts of it try and pick up on occasion, like just southeast of Chanute. Tries to get going a little bit and then it dies out again. This was going pretty decently earlier and now it's dying out. And that's really going to be the trend. We'll see a few scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder as we go through the morning hours and into about the noon hour here. And then once this line exits our area, it runs into much more favorable air and will actually re-intensify and become severe for parts of Arkansas and southeast Missouri. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking back to the south. You can see it shaking. The wind still blowing out there. KDOT camera 69 and 400. It is gray. It is dark. It is dreary because of, well, this. We are socked in with clouds, and they moved in a hurry. 70 in Joplin. South breeze at 21, gusting to 40 miles an hour. You can see where that cold front is and where the colder air is. 63 8 Center Chanute, 61 in Iola, and then right down the road, 71 in Fort Scott, 69 in Pittsburgh, 70 Miami, Neosho, Carthage, Nevada, and Lamar. All right, again, a few scattered showers and thunderstorms this morning. Gusty winds pushing that 40-mile-an-hour mark. Temperatures floating right around 70 degrees. Into the afternoon, up to about 73. Cloudy, winds still pushing about 20, 25 miles an hour. This evening, we'll start to see the clouds clear out of here. We'll go mostly clear. Gusty winds return overnight as well, and we get cold, dropping back down to a low of 46 degrees, and that's not as cold as it's going to be. All right, cooler tomorrow, 66. Much cooler on Saturday, 55. We're down to 40, 35, 40, so make sure your outdoor plants are ready for this cool down because these overnight lows don't improve much next week either. Up to 62 on Sunday. More showers and thunderstorms Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Temperatures in the 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Carthage man receives 24 years and 5 months with no chance of parole in federal prison for sexually exploiting a Michigan child he met on Discord. Charles Ward Kinsells pleaded guilty to the crime in 2022. Upon completion of his sentence, Kinsel will spend 20 years on supervised release and will be subject to state and federal sex offender registration requirements. Authorities released the name of the victim in a fatal shooting in Galena, Kansas. 27-year-old Levi Porter of Riverton was shot and killed Tuesday night in Galena. Sheriff David Grove says Cherokee County emergency medical personnel tried to revive Porter, but were unsuccessful. Sheriff Grove says authorities arrested 49-year-old Billy Barker from Galena at the scene. He's now at the Cherokee County Jail on pending charges of second-degree murder. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signs into law a bill designating hundreds of acres in Allen County as a state park. 360 acres known as the Lehigh property include a lake, a cave, and more than 14 miles of existing trails. Plans for the state park include a visitor center, RV hookups, floating cabins, and primitive campsites. A Joplin program connecting seniors with volunteer programs hosts its graduation. The Give 5 program is a civic matchmaking program that connects current and soon-to-be retirees 55 and older with volunteer opportunities that best fit their skill sets and passions. For the last 5 weeks, 14 retirees have visited 23 area nonprofits to learn more about the services they provide.
And we've got a few scattered showers and storms through the morning, out of here by the afternoon. Cloudy, winds 20, 25 miles an hour, low 70s for highs. Much colder tonight. Winds also increase overnight as clouds decrease and will eventually drop back down to a low of 46. We're chilly tomorrow, 66. Colder Saturday, 55. 62 on Sunday. Overnight lows 40, 35, 40. So make sure your outdoor vegetation is ready to go for this cold spell. We start to warm up a little next week, but not by much. Hanging out in the 60s. Overnight lows hang out in the 40s. And we see additional shower and thunderstorm chances off and on throughout the majority of next week.
Right. Well, you might say this National Day today gives identical twins an advantage. And you would be right.
See, April 20th is National Look-alike Day. And while twins can pull that off easily, don't count yourself out.
Get creative. Try searching through your closet or drawers and find a perfect look to match with someone all day long.
Maybe it's a friend or celebrity you have a passing resemblance to. Kind of think of it as an early Halloween.
We should have done this. Fun fact, National Look-alike Day started in the 1980s when some reporters in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, saw a man who looked just like Humphrey Bogart. So they wrote up a story on him.
So, and everybody, it seems, has a doppelganger. It's just a matter of who and where and what it is they do. And hopefully they're not criminals. I've heard stories about that where people, they look just like a criminal or whatever. Like they're almost as if they were identical twins and they're the ones that get stopped or whatever the case may be. It's rare, but it does happen. That'd be my luck. My doppelganger is probably out committing felonies right now, and I'll find out about it in a couple of years.
I'm curious if the Humphrey Bogart look-alike started walking around saying, here's looking at you, kid.
It probably did.
Yeah.
Especially after that story.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're going to be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.